in recovery, we forget this about our human selves. Recovery is fuel for going bigger and stronger, right? From an athletic sense, you literally destroy muscles when you work out, and if you're not recovering, they stay destroyed. I'm like using a strong word there, but that goes with mental health, physical health, and everything in between, right?
You are right. I speaking of working out, a few weeks ago, I went and did way too many sit-ups on the bench at the gym, and then I got sick. So then I was coughing, and when your abs are all torn up and you cough for a week straight, it's brutal. And then as soon as I felt them, I went back to the gym and did a whole bunch more sit-ups. And then I was just, like, screwed. I couldn't move, nothing. I was like, "I gotta rest." Alright, everyone. Today we have Carley Wolfe, and this is gonna be a fun conversation. We've talked a couple times now, and we always have a good time. So, Carly, can you tell the audience a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Well, first of all, thanks for having me. I agree. Always good conversation. So ready for another one. First of all, I live in Baltimore, Maryland. Not originally from here. I grew up in the Chicago area. Moved around quite a bit, which has helped shape who I am. And a big part of who I am, I love careers and supporting people in their careers. That's where my moves came from. So I work at Hyatt Hotels. I help our organization think about leadership development, culture, just to name a few things. But basically, right, we promised you something when you came in, we try to deliver on that. Career development is one part. And then I also do some career coaching. So I work with folks who are in pivots. Maybe they're like stuck, like, all right, what's next for me? Or I don't know, or I've been in this role, I want to get promoted. And then I also do a lot of work in the community here in Baltimore, serve on our workforce development board. So that's helping people with careers at scale. I also work and support some nonprofits, including volunteering. One of those is an organization called Kennedy Krieger Institute. They work with kids with disabilities in their adaptive sports program. The best way to describe it is like, everyone wants to play sport. This is like their why. Like they just get to come and hang out. Sitting volleyball, wheelchair basketball, track and field, sledge hockey, name the sport, we do it. Um, yeah, and I'm really passionate about the future of work. With AI happening right now, there's a lot changing at work, and obviously that has to do with careers, but I also think it's about our communities. Like, how do we keep up with the changes and help people stay on pace with change? So, I don't know. That's a little bit about me. I have a dog named Sammy. He turns 16 this month. I'm throwing him a sweet 16 birthday. So there's your like fun fact of the day.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, you are busy. Holy crap, you do a lot.
Try I mean, I love it though. I did a values exercise recently and actually like career and impact like came I mean, I'm not surprised, but for a long time I had this like, am I doing too much work? Am I too busy? But I think I love this stuff. I love helping people bring the best out of themselves and like what they get to do every single day.
Yeah, which is important because a lot of people out there are living a life that they don't want.
Mhm.
They have a job that they hate, or they have a job where all they want is to move up to the next level, but they just can't figure out how.
Yeah,
So for you to help people do that is huge.
for
Like
sure.
that's incredible.
Yeah. And we spend a ton of time at work, right?
Hmm.
Huge part of what
Yeah.
we do. I mean, you
Yeah.
help people a lot too. You're busy too.
Hmm. Yeah. And like, I worked from got my first like real job when I was 14 years old, and I worked up until like 10 months ago. And when you like don't get the opportunity to grow in a company, you feel like your purpose is gone.
Yeah.
And I experienced that for the first time at the last company I was at, which is a big part of why I left. Other than I wanted to go full time on my business. It sucked when, especially for me, like I was in the industry for what was it? 15 or 16 years
Mm,
before I started working for them, and everywhere I went, I moved basically up to the top, and then there, I started at the top and then kept getting moved down. I was like, "Well, that's not good," and I knew it wasn't me. That was the one good thing is like, okay, I've been with 3 companies before these guys. I moved up in all of them. I helped all these companies grow and sell, and so I knew it wasn't me, but it was just the way that they handle things, and that's alright.
yeah. Yeah,
I'm I'm glad that I'm not there, and I wish them, good luck,
for sure.
but it's like, if you want employees that are happy and that stay, you gotta give them the opportunity to, grow
Yeah,
and become better.
yeah. Well, I think you're talking about 2 important things, like, just to hook onto that. We're all like, humans were wired by nature to continue to evolve, and a big part of evolution is learning and growing. And we learn a ton about ourselves through stretching. And so to have that ability, not only is it innate, but, it gives us a sense of ownership, like, I'm making progress, right? And then I think the other thing you're bringing up, which is I love, and I think it's amazing that you did this, and I also think a lot of people get stuck here. I've been here myself, which is you didn't let that company get you down. You're like, I know, I've already had 3 other companies. I do a great job. It's this place, the space, whatever it may be. And I think a lot of us, I say us because I've been in that where I'm like, is this I guess I'm, like, not as good as I thought. I mean, not that I've ever been like, "I'm the best," but I mean, just like, holy, I don't know if I think is it me? Is it them? And I think a lot of people struggle with this. In fact, that's why a lot of people also get stuck in that career space because they let or I don't wanna say let, is a because it's your environment, right? You start to believe in that you're not as good
Yeah.
as or you could do. And so I love that you didn't because
Mhm.
it's important to remember that, yeah, we are valuable. It just may not be the fit at the time.
Yeah, and, like, for me, in my situation, I'm thankful because of the people I had around me during that time because my friends, my family, and my old employer, because I still am very close to them, they were always just like, "You can't take that from them, you can't let it get to you. You are great at what you do, and don't let them make you think that you're not." And but especially from my old employer to keep saying that to me, it's just like I'm like, "Alright," because if I wouldn't have had those people around me, I think I would've fallen into the trap of starting to believe it and getting down on myself, and yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so funny, I use well, because I love sports and I think they're a good metaphor for a lot of things in life.
Yeah.
But one thing I never thought about until now is, pick any or a lot of like professional sports, especially team sports where you're trading people and they're moving around. You know, especially the culture of the United States, like we look at it as a opportunity, like, ooh, where are they going to go now? Oh, they're really going to shine in that city, or maybe they get traded somewhere and they're like, oof. Like I think about football, they're like, oof, that offense isn't like set up well for that athlete. And I share this, like, reflection with you because I don't know if we give ourselves generally enough credit like that at work, right? Sometimes
Mhm.
it's not the season, it's not the team around us, it's not the culture that, like, is where we thrive. And we yeah, like, personally, we take those a lot some of us take that personally or also, um, place value where it shouldn't be placed. You're like, how do you hold value for yourself? What are the things that are important for you? What do you know that's true about what you can contribute and what you can and do? And if you're learning it's um not the fit, how do you move on? And you mentioned you're like, oh, they're still in a good place with you, your former employer. I'm like, actually probably something you're like, thanks. Now I'm out on my own. You let you let me know that I gotta go. Now it's my time. So I think that that's
Yeah.
cool too.
Yeah. Well, when I said my former employer, I meant the job before
Sorry, I meant the
the
one you were working
the
at.
bad one.
Is the place
Yeah.
maybe I'll ask you, is the place that you last worked at before you became your own like, ran your own business, was that the company that you weren't that they didn't see as much value or
Exactly.
yeah,
Yep.
exactly. You're like,
Yep.
"Thanks, I'm out.
Yep. Oh,
I
yeah.
I got my own thing now."
Yep. Oh, yeah, and that's, for sure what it was. I was just like, "This is a sign that I need to leave
Yes.
and do my own thing."
Yep.
And, man, am I glad that I did because, it was miserable. Like, it really was just going somewhere where you don't feel like you belong, you don't feel valued. It drains on you no matter who you are. So, for the people that are in a situation like that, what should they do?
Yeah. I think the first thing is some of what we've been talking about. Try to take inventory on things that you're passionate about, things that you value, things that you know you're good at. And if you've forgotten those things or you don't have confidence in those things anymore, do exactly what you just said. Friends, family, people that you used to work with. Get involved in stuff outside of work like volunteering, to refine sort of that sense of self that you have. And with that, like, what do you wanna do next? Right? So, I know that it can feel overwhelming for folks because we spend a lot of time at work, s we're invested in it, right? All these things are tied around, who we are, but once you've been able to separate out yourself from, we'll call it, the situation, what's next is what do I wanna do differently? And sometimes it might be a matter of I need a new boss, right? Maybe you and your boss are just philosophically in different places and your boss has a hard time working with you under that understanding. Maybe it's an
Mhm,
environment. I think of a lot of people that have come and gone from when I say environment, I mean like in office, out of office. This has been a pendulum swinging for years. Well, that you're not happy with that. All right, maybe it's just adjusting that. Maybe it's the actual work that you're doing. Like, all right, I came here as a programmer and now I want to do engineering. I'm done programming. Can you make that shift? Starting to then think about what's next for you, and what you want to adjust, I think is where you go. And as you can imagine, there's a million possibilities. But I think understanding that sometimes you can still work for the same organization and change your circumstance. Or maybe it is something else to do, another company, or in your case, go out on your own. But I think those are the first 2 things, refinding yourself, and then what do you wanna do next to figure out what you can adjust either within your space, outside of your space. But that sense of self is so key, right? Because maybe you can change your environment, but you change it to something unintentional, and it
mhm.
still's not a fit.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I think that no matter where you are, like, you may feel stuck, but you're actually not stuck. You're just not able to see the other options.
Yes.
And as somebody who's gone through a lot of self-development and mindset coaching and all of that, I know that, like, once you start to shift your mindset and believe in yourself, you see things a lot differently, and you'll see opportunities that you can't see right now.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I love the mindset call out there because I think there's a lot we can do in building that mindset.
Mhm.
With the switch, I wake up one morning, I'm like, "All right, my mindset is different." Really crafting,
Yeah.
like, what's important for you, where do you see yourself, what's, like, a first step you can take? After you've taken that first step, you're like, "Yes, I've taken that first step." So you're, like, reinforcing the things that you know to be true. And I always or I think there's a lot of, podcasts out on this, just mindset. I
Yep.
started listening to this thing called, I think it's, 10% Better or 10% Happier, and what I love about that is it's a lot about mindset, but it's the some of the science and learnings that influence mindset, I'll call that.
Yeah.
But where are your books, where are your podcasts, where are you getting some of that base that works for you to build mindset? And I think that that
Yeah.
changes a significant, amount of what you're able to influence for yourself.
Yeah. And what you're able to handle.
Exactly.
Because, like, for me, with what I was going through, I had already been in my self-development journey for a couple of years. So just my mindset was a lot better, and I was able to, like, step back from the situation, look at it as a whole, and be like, "Okay, it's not me, I'm not the problem. I know what I'm doing. It's just not a good fit for me to work here.
Yep. Yeah.
And for as far as mindset goes, the thing that helped me the most is a podcast called The Mindset Mentor.
Mm,
So the podcast is excellent.
okay. I'm gonna check that one out too.
Yeah, it's number one podcast in self development. Oh, number one something. It's excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I want you to know you're being like a perfect example of a lot of things that I hope people find in their journey and hear you saying, because one of the things you just said was you had spent time on your mindset. I think you said a couple of years, like, and you're learning, right? Building that up. And then there came a time where you said, I'm gonna do something else. I think so many times get to see the end result of someone's journey and we sit and see the end result and think, gosh, I don't think I could do that. But the reality is that your end journey started a few years before that, learning,
yeah,
shifting.
mhm,
And so then when the moment came, I mean, you didn't know, you weren't gonna like, in like 2 years from now, I'm gonna need this mindset practice. You just began.
yep,
And then when the
yeah,
muscle was needed, you were able to use it. And so in thinking about others, I think that's why it's important to it is always just the first step. The first step
mhm,
may not yield you a new job, but your first step starts to refine your purpose and self. First, your second step, right, starts to practice that. Third step, figuring out what's next, right? It's just one step at a time. But thank you for sharing that because I think that's the other thing that, right, we all struggle with. I mean, we're talking about jobs and careers, but I think that can relate to fitness. It can relate to um, where do I want to live? Who do I want to be friends with? Right? It all just
mhm.
begins with that first step into the journey that we're trying to build for ourselves.
Yeah, and sometimes that first step is a result of a very dark point in your life because that's how it was for me. In 2019, I lost my dad to brain cancer,
Mm.
and my dad was my hero. My dad was my boss. We owned the company, and so my whole life, you know, changed drastically, and I had to stay strong for my mom, my sister, and our employees, and I didn't get time to grieve. Well, that kept it up to you.
Oh, yeah.
And when it did, I went into a very dark depression, suicidal thoughts, and everything. And one morning, I woke up and I was like, it was like a voice in my head. I think like God was sending me a message saying, "You have to change starting today, or you're not gonna be here much longer."
Mm.
I wanna say that was the day that I went to work at my good job, not the last one, the one before that, and my boss, Trevor, he had some motivational mindset thing playing, and I think that is what started my whole self-development journey. Is just that day, and then, you know, he had that playing, I was like, "What's that?" You know?
Mm.
So, yeah.
That's so cool. I mean, the start of that well, I'd say it's cool, like, the start of that beginning for you. Um, sorry to hear about your dad. He sounds like an
Thank you.
amazing, amazing person. And he's with us. Like, look at what you're doing right now. Changing the world, having valuable conversations that other people can, like, glean from and, evolve their lives with. So,
Yep. Yeah, and, I just starting that day, I was just on a mission to heal myself before anything else, and that's something that a lot of people don't really take the time to do, is work on yourself.
yep.
Make sure you're good before you help anybody else.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so,
Absolutely.
yeah, but it's funny because I was literally just thinking about that yesterday. because I was on a podcast and they asked, like, when I got or how I got started into, personal development and all of that, and I was like, "I don't know." Like, it just kinda happened,
Yeah.
and, like, I knew, like, the message that I woke up with that one morning, I knew that was the start, but I didn't know, like, how I, like, figured it out, but I think it was because I went into my boss's office and he had something playing that was motivational, and I don't know, it just kind of started like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and we don't always get the, like, replay tape on our lives, right? So we are also, not only do many other people see us at our end, destinations, but, we have more perspective, but also we forget about the beginning, like, maybe it was tough or we didn't know, and so that we were talking about taking that first step. What's I think really impactful when you're making a big change, is the reason why you want that end destination is you start writing like, what are the early steps? And then when you have those tough when you're at the middle, you can look back, whether it's journaling, planning, or whatever it is, and you're like, okay, look how far I've come. Look how much I've put in. And I think that the more we have opportunity to give ourselves that grace and that recognition of the progress that we've made as people, the more fuel that gives us to continue to move forward. And it's a blessing. I think when you were sharing, this is like such a small thing, but I was going back on some emails. I was looking for something my friend had sent me, and I was looking back on some board work that I had started. Or I'll just share, I was City of Baltimore Workforce Development Board. So I'd started this. I was like, I want to help my city. I want to be a part of something. And I gotta tell you, it was a whole journey. Like I had no idea. So I work in corporate. I've always corporate nonprofit. I've always worked in an organization. I've never served in a government or public service type of role. And so getting involved, I was thinking, oh, I've done like HR. I've done people. This will be very similar. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's a whole thing. There's literally politics. Politics, big politics, but also different politics of how you navigate. There's literal sort of like government policy, how do things get done? How do boards run? What's the culture around relationships? All these things. So I'm just picking on a few things. And I felt like I was using this term, I felt like a baby deer, like out in the forest. Like I could like barely stand up. They call me and they're like, Carly, you gotta think about this. Like here's how this works here. And I was like, I don't think I've been talked to this way in like 10 years. Um, and it's not that I haven't forgotten about it because I'm still in the middle of it, but going back to this email, I was looking at what I was asking and what I was saying, and I was blown away. Like I knew I had made progress, but just to have
Mm,
that reference point was huge. So
yeah,
landing to say we got to give ourselves more credit, and when you're
yep.
making big change,
This episode is sponsored by A Topic AI for Opportunity. A Topic is an AI-powered opportunity discovery platform, and the best word that I can describe it is ChatGPT, but instead of giving you information, it gives you real people you should be connecting with. Whether you're looking for clients, partners, investors, job prospects, or high intent leads, Topic makes it simple. You just type what you're looking for, and the AI thinks through thousands of signals, and then surfaces verified prospects with context, not random lists. It even helps you follow up, nurture conversations, and track your pipeline. What I love about Atopic and why I'm excited to have them as a sponsor is that they're solving the biggest problem in business growth, finding the right people at the right time. If you haven't yet, go to atopic.com and try it. It's one of the smartest tools out there for people trying to grow their business.
maybe take note of those things that you're doing well, that you're thinking about, because that is fuel to keep you going
Hmm.
because it gives you a sense of how far you've come.
Yeah. And like, remember to celebrate yourself and what you have accomplished. Because like this last Tuesday, I'm in here recording a podcast. I get done, and if you check out my social media, you'll see the video that I post on Tuesday. But my best friend surprised me, so I walk out of my office and there's streamers and balloons everywhere. And I walk out and I'm like, what in the hell is this? He's like, it's your 3rd year anniversary. I was like, of what? He was like, the first time you posted a video on social media. I was like, what? I was like, 3 years? At first, I was like, it's only been 3 years? Like, it feels like way longer ago, 'cause I've done so much since then. But yeah, so then he invited some of my friends over, and we just sat and hung out and just, you know, celebrated that milestone, and it felt so good just to kinda look back on that and look back on my first video, which was awful, and see how far I came.
Totally.
I mean, now I've got over 18,000 followers on Facebook alone, and we're reaching almost 1,000,000 people a month just on my Facebook account. It's like, that's a lot, you
A
you
lot
know?
of people.
Yeah, and it
Yeah.
it only took me 3 years to do that, and I think that's really good.
Yeah. I think it's more than good. First of all, I know you said he was your best friend, but still, that's a good friend.
Yeah.
That's a good friend
Oh,
right
yeah,
there.
for sure.
I think,
Yep.
and by the way, congratulations on your 3 years and your million people and all the things.
Yeah, thank you.
And I think you're bringing up a good point too. Who's around you? Like, who's in your people use tribe, people use work. I use the term like board of directors, like who are the people helping you with your career? But who you surround yourself with is is massively critical too, right? You need the balloon and streamer people in your life.
Yeah, you do. You know what, they say that you are the average of the 5 people you hang around, and that's a fact. You can look all over your life, you can look at your friends, your family, and whoever they hang out with the most, they're a lot like them, you know?
Mhm.
You decide the type of person that you want to be around. You don't have to eliminate people from your life,
No.
but you do have to do what I did and limit your time with them.
Yeah, you got I think what you're talking about is like a lot of I'll use the term sphere of influence, it's probably a little too technical, but to your point, the people you
Yep.
spend the most time with are kind of
Mhm.
influential in what you're doing. Doesn't mean there aren't other people in your life that are important, that add value, that, um, add to your experience, but, um, it's important to be thinking about where you're headed, what you're doing, what's important for you, and are the people that are you're closest to representing and, um, like ballooning it up, like ballooning and streamering it up for you.
Mhm. Yep.
You and I are, part of a business group where we know each other from, and I've been so fascinated, like, just meeting all kinds of different people. One person I met from there, he said something to me a few months ago that's really stuck with me in so many ways. We were talking about, like, how do you think about kinda like your next steps, like, what's your goal? And we were first talking about it as individual, like, where do you wanna set the bar, if you will? And, then he said, "Well, what if you set the bar so high that you had to bring others with you?"
Mhm.
And I
I like that.
thought that was such a good question and perspective because, like, I love people and I love going places with people, literally, like, in my life
Mhm.
or it may quite literally, let's go get a bite to eat. But in life, like, I go with other people. I'm very intentional about this, who's with me and where are we going. But
Mhm.
I am a person of not that I can always do it by myself, but I definitely don't lean on other people enough. That's more where I'm going.
Mhm.
And when he said that, I was like, "He's so true," because it's not even about me. People that are
Mhm.
close to me, we wanna go together because we're all in it together, both in a literal sense of we care about each other, but also in life. If we're supporting and elevating collectively, we can go more than one person. So that's also why
Mhm.
that's important to bring people in
Yeah,
for
I
good.
I've got my 3, like, main friends that I see the most, and it's because we all have that big vision of our lives and what we want to build and, you know, our goals
are
are
big,
big, where a lot of people don't really have
big
big
goals.
goals.
Yeah.
And,
And,
you know, I
I think everybody should have goals that are so wild and crazy that you should be embarrassed to tell your family because they'll think that you're crazy. Like, that's how big your goals should be, I think. Because I'd rather, like, go for the biggest thing and come up short than to set, like, a mediocre goal and then come up short on that, you know?
Yep. Yep. You are, I said it earlier, you're saying all these things are so wise because you don't know, but you're giving me coaching in the moment because I'm thinking, I'm gonna reflect for something for me, but I think it's helpful maybe for people to hear us, like, think about this out loud or connect, which is, I'm in a life and I'm, like, thinking about what's next. I've largely kept it to myself because this is how I'm like, "Oh, I can kinda figure it out myself." But also I think I'm afraid, like, what if I say it? Like, to your point, not I don't think anyone's gonna be like, "Carly, that is the craziest thing I ever heard." I'm, like, afraid my ambitious goals maybe aren't, like, out of the world, but they're big for me, and I think you do get the question of, like, "Is that really what you wanna do?" But more for me, it's probably the fear of failure. Like, if I tell other people I'm doing something, and then I don't get it done, they're gonna think I was a failure, or, like, I wasn't good enough to reach that thing. Um, but you know what I started doing was telling the people that are close to me. And they're like, "Of course that makes sense. And here's some other ways you could think about doing it. By the way, I have this other person that can help out. Have you thought about this?" Or just like, "Yeah, let's go. Let's go get it." Um, and the people that care about me are gonna be the ones that know what I'm trying to do, and they're gonna be there to support me no matter what. The people that aren't
Mhm.
close to me, they might hear what I'm trying to do, but they also have their own lives. Like they're not keeping track of what I do or don't do.
Yep.
So thanks for your note there because I'm actually in that, but I've been like reflecting. I wanna raise the bar and go with other people. I wanna go higher. I gotta go with
Yeah.
people.
I mean, you have to.
Yeah.
Like, you have to. Wh who wants to be average? I don't. I don't wanna be average, you know?
Except, like, every once in a while on a Sunday, I'm, like, perfectly fine actually being below average.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sunday, laying on the couch all day, that's just fine.
I'm like, I'm signed up. What are you doing this weekend? Being below average.
Yeah, I agree. You always need to take time to have fun, take time for yourself. I learned that the hard way. You know, I thought it was good to just work all day, every day, and not take a day off, nothing. Thankfully, my mentor that I have now, his name is Dr. Rob Kelly, if you guys want to look him up. But in one of the first sessions that we had, because he meets with me once or twice a week, he was like, how many days of the week do you take off? I was like, what are you talking about? I don't take days off.
It's like that
He's
you're
like,
on the phone with them on a Saturday.
yeah. He's like, well, you are now. I said, no, I can't. He's like, yes, you can. You're not allowed to work Saturday or Sunday. Do you understand? I was like, okay, because this guy is like to the point. Like he doesn't mess around. He just gets shit done. And he was just like, you're not working Saturday or Sunday. I was like, okay, Dr. Rob, I got it. And ever since then, I've been getting more done and working less. I'm happier. So it's just you
Yeah.
gotta take time off.
Yep. Take care of you. You said earlier, take care of you so you can care of, I'll say other things, whether it's other people, other things you got going in your life. It's key. In recovery, we forget this, about our human selves. Recovery is fuel for 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 going bigger and stronger, right? From an athletic sense, you literally destroy muscles when you work out, and if you're not recovering, they stay destroyed. I'm like using a strong word there, but that goes with mental health, physical health, and everything in between, right?
Yep, you are right. I speaking of working out, a few weeks ago, I went and did way too many sit ups on the sit up bench at the gym. and then I got sick, so then I was coughing, and when your abs are all torn up and you cough for a week straight, it's brutal. And then as soon as I felt them, I went back to the gym and did a whole bunch more sit-ups. And then I was just like screwed. I couldn't move, nothing. I was like, I gotta rest.
You know, and sometimes it takes us a few times to learn the lesson we should have from the first place. As soon as you started talking, like, you're like, "And then I got sick," I was like, "Oh, no." Like, we've all been there where your body's sore like that with your sit-ups, and then you're like sneeze or cough, and your body first of all, you cough, it doesn't feel good, and so that's number 1, followed by a quick number 2 of like, "Oh, no."
Yeah. And like I had influenza A, so it was like a
Brutal.
bad, yeah. But the most brutal part about it was my abs. That was the worst part about it because it hurt so bad and I couldn't stop coughing. It was awful.
No, your body's like, Yo, we're fighting this disease right now. Your abs gonna wait."
Yeah, yeah, it was terrible. Alright, so we should probably wrap this up because I think we could talk for another hour, but how can people reach out to you?
Yeah, for sure. So, first of all, acenaroconsulting.com. So that's anything coaching, business related. The other place, I'm super active on LinkedIn. So Carley Wolfe. I'm always happy to. Well, one, I post about regular nonprofit board work, leadership, future work with AI. All those are things I'm active on. But I do pick up the messages that people send. So if people are curious and I can help out, would love that. And the raising the bar on the people around us, conversation is always amazing. I learn from people all the time. I think I've noted at least 4 times where you've said something, I'm like, "Oh my gosh, good reminder," or "Yes." And I think we all have those things to offer, so that's where people can find me, but also and we can engage together.
Yep, I love it. It's amazing how powerful a conversation is,
So powerful.
and, that's why I run my podcast like I do. Like, there's no structure really. It's just let's jump on, have a conversation. I don't know where it's gonna go. You don't know where it's gonna go, but it's gonna go somewhere good.
Yeah,
And today, it really did.
yeah, and I appreciate that too. I appreciate that both in demonstration because I think it, like, empowers people to just pick up that note, that phone, whatever, that social reach out. And there's value in that, right? So much though. And I appreciate the connection too and just getting energy from your story and our time together. So thank you.
Yeah, me too. Same here. And I have one more question, which you're gonna like this one. My slogan is "Your abilities are infinite." What does that mean to you?
We all have something to give to the world, to give to ourselves, and there is an infinite possibility of what that could look like from the when we wake up in the morning of what the day is, even that is infinite, to the lives that we live, and know that Um, those abilities are always evolving, growing, taking shape, and that's what it means for me. It's constant growth and evolution. It's
I love that, and I couldn't agree more.
a good question. I like it too.
All right, Carly, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
If you enjoyed this show, please go ahead and share it anywhere else that you see fit, because the only way that I can grow this is by you guys sharing it. I don't sell anything on here, so let's just get it out there by word of mouth, help more people. All right, everyone, remember your abilities are infinite.